welcome. You're watching Money9. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Last Ticker Show, where we recap for you the entire market day's action and also suggest to you what are the factors that you need to keep in your mind for the next week's trading action as well. Let's quickly keep an eye out on how the markets really performed in today's trading session. A week that actually began with a very big positive trigger of union budget has also ended with a big positive trigger coming in from the monetary policy as well. So it's been a spectacular week as far as the benchmark indices are concerned. You can see there is a record closing high yet again today, 50,731 at close for the Sensex. That's up about 0.23% in trade, while the Nifty 50 is also up about 14,924 was the closing level, 28 points gains, and that's a 0.19% kind of a gain that we've seen. So you've already seen record high levels intraday today. 51,000 climbed up for the Sensex, 15,000 also topped for the Nifty as well. Look at the Nifty Bank. That's also crossed the 36,000 landmark milestone even on a day like today. However, for all the three indices, you can see that they did slip down from those record highs seen in the earlier trade today. There was a mild bit of profit booking that actually came on top of all of these earnings as well. Look at the broad market indices, the mid cap and the small cap indices. Both of them were actually trading in the green right in the first half of trade, and they were almost in tandem with the benchmark indices. But towards the close, they actually saw mild bit of profit booking. For the mid-cap, the profit booking was even more at 1% downtick with 181 points of a loss for the mid-cap index in today's trading session. Moving on to see what kind of sectors that moved the markets today. The buzzing sectors included, auto sector that actually has now seen a bit of profit booking, 1.5% loss for that one. The financial services sector still holding up the gains, including the PSU banking index up 3.5% in trade. Remember, what really pulled down the markets towards the close or maybe stemmed the losses or capped the upside for the markets was the private bank index. That's down about 0.7% in trade in today's trading session. The pharma index also inched up higher at 1.5% gains, with the metal index also inching up at 1% today. The FMCG index had 0.5% up in trade. However, it was the IT index, the media index. The media index, in fact, you can see a whole lot of profit booking. In fact, 4.5% of a loss for the media stocks today. Although they don't have huge weightage over there, but still the kind of loss that we are seeing on that index is quite a lot when you see the kind of gains made over the last 1 week. Most of the gains over here may have got negated in this counter for sure. Now, realty index is definitely up about 0.5% in trade as well. So that's something that you need to keep an eye out on. Let's look at which were the top gainers and losers in today's trading session as far as the Nifty is concerned. State Bank of India, definitely stock of the day for 2 consecutive days in a row. First, ahead of the results, and now post the results as well. The results have been good. We've seen the bad assets also slip, and also the slippages trimmed down to 1.5% of loans. That's the lowest in the last 15 years for State Bank of India. Remember, brokerage houses like CLSA have given it a big thumbs up, saying that there's a big re-rating that's on the counter that's waiting. We did see an upper circuit also being hit for State Bank of India right in the early morning trade of 10%, and then at 15% it crossed the 400 mark as well as far as the level of State Bank of India's share is concerned. But it closed at with gains of 11% this time around. 395 was the last trading price that we saw today. Divi's Laboratories, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Dr. Reddy's and Tata Steel, the other top gainers for the Nifty pack. Moving on to the losers then, if you see most of the banking counters also from the private banking space that actually pulled down the Nifty index included Axis Bank, that fell about 3% in trade. Bharti Airtel was also down about 2.7% in trade today. From the auto space, it was Tata Motors that slipped at and closed at around 318, down 2.5%. UPL and Maruti also saw profit booking right from the top, and UPL has been trading down from the last 2 or 3 trading sessions as well. Let's move on and see, how the IPO market really has been performing. Brookfield India Real Estate Trust, today is the last day of subscription for the IPO. It has already got subscribed fully. In fact, it's now oversubscribed at 4.84 times until 3 p.m. today. The IPO will close today and get listed in a week's time. Let's move on to see how the new listing really performed today. Stovecraft, that got listed, the kitchen appliances major. Remember, it closed for 15% up over the issue price of 385. It opened with further gains of about 29% on the NSE to list at around 498 rupees per share. But it did see some kind of profit booking in the second half, and we could see the closing price just above 15% from the 385 rupees kind of an issue price that we saw. Moving on to what kind of factors really moved the markets today. Remember, it's the Union Budget 2021 that's provided the major trigger for the Indian markets, which were actually down in the run-up to the budget. But the dynamics have seem to have changed with the kind of capex allocation to infrastructure, focus on healthcare as well. All of these factors coming in together. Also, announcements on the banking space as well, including the recapitalization of PSU banks and also the privatization factor. All of these pushing the various sectoral indices in trade right from Monday until today. There has been no stopping short for the bulls for this week at all. There have been positive global cues also supporting the Indian markets from the last 2 or 3 trading sessions. The RBI monetary policy today, which came out, in fact, complemented the Union Budget and the announcements as well by saying, by maintaining the rates at status quo, unchanged rate, repo rate at 4% and 3.35% for the reverse repo as well, and also keeping the accommodative stance, which actually implies that the government, the RBI, could actually go ahead and cut rates if required for the economy going forward from here. Now, the important factor came out on the liquidity front. The RBI has given enough assurances on maintaining the liquidity support for now to keep the growth trajectory pumped up for the economy right now. There were foreign fund inflows that have been supporting the Indian markets right from the announcement of the Union Budget, and it has sustained until today as well. And stellar Q3 results, especially from State Bank of India, that has really helped the Nifty Bank inch up today much higher. In fact, State Bank of India's counter was up 15%. On an intraday level, so stellar earnings coming in from there, also spilling over the ripple effect to the rate sensitives as well. Moving on to which will be the factors that you need to keep an eye out on for the next week's trading action. Well, there'll be some macro data coming out, so you have to keep an eye out on that one to find out whether whatever the announcements have happened on the fiscal policy front, on the monetary policy front, do indicate, from the high frequency data that is actually from on-ground data as well. So CPI inflation is likely to come out next week. The IIP data will be flowing in. Q3 earnings, a whole lot of companies will be reporting their earnings for the next week as well. And FII flows will be very important to watch out for as well. Moving on to what kind of results will be important to watch out for on Monday's trading session. We will have Balkrishna Industries, Aban Offshore, BPCL from the oil and gas pack, EID Perry, GEPIL, Godrej Consumer, Marksons Pharma, Reddington also, and as well Sikal Pharma, Sun TV, Usha Martin and Vakrangi. These will be the important names to watch out for as they come out with their earnings report on Monday as well. So we leave you at that with a market wrap and a whole lot of wishes for the weekend as well. Stay safe, but we'll soon join you on Monday with a whole lot of market action and much more on personal finance front as well.